Well, that was about as fun as a trip to the dentist. What's up, everybody? I'm Professor Wrestler Chris Wild. This is Fly Wild. And of course, I'm talking about what the Eagles did during the trade deadline. The media had hyped that the Eagles were looking to do something fun during that deadline. Names like Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Von Miller, Leonard Williams, Chris Harris Jr., Patrick Peterson were all thrown around for weeks. I talked about it for weeks. And we ended up with Gennard Avery from the Cleveland Browns the day before the trade deadline, and absolutely nothing during the deadline day. So yeah, it wasn't fun at all. As a matter of fact, it was kind of torturous because all day we're just waiting, checking our phones, waiting, checking Twitter, waiting, checking Facebook, hoping to hear something, listening to the radio, and it was just they just pulled us along. But at the end of that day, I was pissed off because the Eagles didn't do anything with names like Robbie Anderson out there that I thought they could get for cheap. They need wide receiver help. They need help in the cornerback. They need help with defensive tackle. So, of course, I was a little bit upset. But now that you have time to think and digest everything, look, nobody made a deal during that trade deadline because the New England Patriots probably killed the market for everybody. When you give up a number 2 pick for Mohamed Sanu, and now everybody's expectations for the other players go through the roof, and Joe Douglas and other GMs don't want to give away their guys for cheap. And so I don't blame Howie for not just giving away the farm, even though they don't draft well. But that's another video for another day. So look, we do have some additions coming to the team. Deshaun Jackson practiced this week. Tim Jernigan, Darren Sproles, Avonte Maddox is supposed to play this week. So we do have some extra people coming back that we didn't have before that should help this team. And I'm sure that's what Howie Roseman was thinking, and Doug Peterson as well. Especially not making some kind of move for a receiver. I think that they're happy with where Deshaun is. Again, just an opinion. And while we're talking about wide receiver, Josh Gordon was released from the New England Patriots today, as expected. Now he has to clear waivers, and the Eagles are way down on the list for the waivers on the waiver wire. So I really don't expect them to get him if they put in a waiver claim for him. I can see the New York Giants picking him up, sadly. I can see the Redskins do a lot of stupid shit. I can see them doing it. The Dolphins do a lot of dumb stuff. I can see them just picking him up just to pick him up. So, yeah, I don't expect Josh Gordon to be in Eagles uniform. But, again, if Deshaun Jackson can come back and these other wide receivers can wake up from this dismal beginning of 2019, the wide receiver production for this team has been horrible. You're looking at Nelson Aguilar when he does make a catch, and Alshon Jeffrey are the only 2 wide receivers that are making any kind of progress on this team. It's frustrating in itself. But hopefully, if you got a guy like Deshaun back, just him being on the field makes everybody better, I believe. And again, the sample size is very small because it's just the one game. But I do think that'll help out. And that's going into this big game that we have, finally coming home to the link against the Chicago Bears, a Week 9 game. The Bears are reeling. They start off 3-1 and I think they've lost a bunch since then. They are a desperate team. Last week, they lost again to a missed field goal against the San Diego Chargers. So look, this is a good team to get right against. In the Buffalo Bills game last week, I can't really say it was a get right game because there was a lot, the weather conditions, the Bills having an absolute horrible offense. We didn't really get to see much. And the defense of the Bills, the great defense that I think they have, was just tired out because their offense wasn't giving them anything by the end of the game. This week, we go against the Chicago Bears defense that is ranked number 3 pass ranked defense and a number 9 ranked rushing defense. Good on both sides, so it's going to be very tough for the Philadelphia Eagles to get offense and to score against this team. However, I think it can be done through the ground. And the reason why is number 24, Jordan Howard. Now this is, look, you ask the players, they say, look, this is just another game. I completely believe that in the back of Jordan Howard's mind, he's preparing for this game more than he has the rest of the season because this is a revenge game. All right, Jordan Howard is a Pro Bowl running back. The past 3 years, since he was drafted, the first 2 years, over 1,000 yards Pro Bowl. Last year, they incorporated Tariq Cohen into the game a little bit more, but he still had 973 yards to the ground. And how the Chicago Bears pay Jordan Howard, a guy who also does a lot through the community in Chicago, how do they pay him? How do they repay him? They send him off to the Eagles. He gets traded for a 4th-round pick. It might have been a 5th, but a 4th-round pick. You kick him to the curb. Draft David Montgomery, keep Tariq Cohen, and basically, hey, thanks for your time here. Now get out to Jordan Howard. That's got to stick into his mind. And he's having a great year so far for the Philadelphia Eagles. Whenever he does touch the ball, he's good things are happening. I mean, let's be honest. Against the Packers, against the Bills, 2 good defenses, the main focal point, the main thing you can take away is Carson Wentz running the offense through Jordan Howard. And they've got to do that against the Bears. Again, he's going to be home. He's going to have extra motivation. If anybody has a big game for the Eagles offense, it's going to be Jordan Howard. Miles Sanders got hurt last week. He had a full day of practice today. No worries there. He's going to be big into this game. So the Eagles, one thing they got going for them is the defense they played last year in the playoffs is not the same defense as you can now probably double team Khalil Mack because they have some injuries on that line. So there is a little bit of hope there. And again, they are home, which will help them out as well. On the defensive side, if we get Avonte Maddox back as a cornerback into the slot, that's going to help out a lot. Mitch Trubisky has just been absolutely horrible. So the Eagles have another quarterback that's been struggling that hopefully that line can feast on. I want to see Gennard Avery show some stuff right away. I hope they get him in the game as soon as possible. Fletcher Cox looked like he was starting to get to himself last week. Brandon Graham's having a hell of a year. Hopefully he can continue it. And Derek Barnett was showing signs of life as well. Sidney Jones, I don't want to see him anywhere near the field. You got Jalen Mills and Ron Darby work good together. They're starting to, it seems like, and again, you played a horrible offense last week. I understand that, but it seems like that secondary is starting to get a little bit better than the garbage that we watched for the first 7 weeks of the season. So I think that the Eagles have a really good chance of beating the Chicago Bears this week. And then we have a bye week, and we come back against the Patriots. And another huge game. But I just want to see a complete game for the Eagles. I've been saying it all year. And hopefully they can put a complete game together. You're home for 3 straight games. That was completely brutal what the Eagles went through. 3 straight road games against 3 straight good defensive teams. But yeah, also, number 11, Carson Wentz. Again, he's going to have to show that he can put this team on his back. And hopefully that run game helps him out. He had a great game last week. Again, stats don't show everything. His decision-making, looking off defenders. He was just doing everything that we saw him do in 2017. So I can't wait to see that again. And hopefully, if he can do that against a defense like the Chicago Bears, that should help boost his confidence. So look, guys, that's the video for today. Didn't want to take up too much of your time. Happy Halloween. Like the video, if you will. Subscribe. Please subscribe. I want to get enough subscribers so when I go to the Seattle game, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Seattle game. It might be a New England game. I'll get with my dad. We'll see what we're going to do. But we always go to at least one game a year. And I would love to live stream. I would love to live stream while I'm there. I can only live stream at home right now because I only have about 177 subscribers, which thank you all for subscribing. It means a bunch. But I want to get that number up. I doubt I can get to 1,000 in 3 weeks, but who knows? Who knows? Never say never. But thanks, guys, for watching. I'm Chris Wild. This has been Fly Wild. And if anything happens between now and Sunday, you'll hear from me. Go Birds.